Hi. Now I'm using the perfect square trinomial system in order to find the solution of an equation that cannot be solved in the simple way. Okay? It's one of the processes that I can solve the equations by. In this problem, he wants me to complete the square of x squared plus 12x to form a perfect square trinomial. Then factor. Okay? Now, when I want to complete the square, I write my problem first, x squared plus 12x, and I have a missing term here that I want to find. I have a missing term here that I want to find. Before this missing term, there must be a plus sign. Now, how do I bring this missing term? I just divide the middle term, the number only, not the x, by 2. This will give me a 6, and then I take this 6 and I square it. So this will be 36. Then my final equation will be x squared plus 12x plus 36. I want to write it, to factor it. So it will be the square root of the first term, which is x, plus the sign is like the middle term sign, and the square root of the last term, which is 6. Then this is my answer. Then, in order to remember it, I'm going to take the middle term, I'm going to half to make it half, and then I'm going to square and add it to the equation. Square means make it squared. There is another problem here. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to copy my expression, and he wants to change it to a perfect square trinomial. It means we have here a plus, and we want to add a term to be able to write it as a perfect square. What are we going to do? We're going to half, divide the 7 by 2. It will be 7 over 2. You can leave it as it is. And then we're going to square, make 7 over 2 squared. So this will be written as x squared plus 7x plus 49 over 4. And this, when we factor it, we will take the square root of the first term, which is x, put the middle sign, which is positive, and take the square root of the last term, which is the square root of the 49, which is 7, over the square root of the 4, which is 2. This is my final answer. Now, he will give me another kind of problem. Solve x squared plus 10x equals negative 24 by completing the square. The process that I'm using is called completing the square. So I'll write my first part as it is. I'll leave an empty place, and then I'll put equal the rest of the problem. Then what am I going to do in this empty place? I'm going to complete the square. I'm going to half of the 10, which will give me 5, and I'm going to add square, it will be 25. This was the first part. Since this is an equation, then what I add here, I must add exactly the same thing here. So I will add here plus 25. Like this, I didn't change my equation. I just made it adaptable to be able to factor it into a complete square. Now, the following step, it will be x plus, like the middle sign, and the square root of the last term, which is 5, make it squared, equals 25 minus 24, which is 1. Then, since I have something squared here, I'm going to take the square root of both sides. First, I'm going to take the square root of the first part, then I'm going to put positive or negative, and I'll take the square root of after the equal sign. This will leave me with x plus 5, and this will leave me with positive or negative 1. Then I have two x's. My first x plus 5 equals positive 1, and the second one is x plus 5 equals negative 1. Here, if I remove 5 from both sides, it will leave me with x equals 1 minus 5, which is negative 4, and the other one will leave me with x, 5 from both sides. It will be negative 5, negative 1, which is negative 6. So these are my two answers. It's x equals negative 4 and x equals negative 6. Now, I'm going to help you solve the problem. Leave a space, put the equal sign, and put the rest of the problem. Now, second step, I'm going to half and square. Half, 8 divided by 2 is 4. Put the plus sign and square. 4 squared is 16. Since I added 16 here, then I must add it here too. Then this will give me the square root of the first term, the sign of the middle term, and the square root of the last term. On the other side, if we add these together, it will give me 49. Then, if I want only the x, I must take the square root of both terms. The square root of x plus 4 all squared is equal to positive or negative the square root of 49. Then x plus 4 equals plus or minus 7. Then I have two solutions. Then x4 equals 7 and x plus 4 equals negative 7. Then my x here equals 3 because I moved this to the other side with a negative sign, and my x here equals negative 11 because I moved the positive 4 to the other side by a negative sign, plus negative 7, it will give me negative 11. I'll do the same thing. X squared minus 2x, I leave a space, put the equal sign, equals 120. Here, I want to find the third term. I'm going to divide the 2 by 2. It will give me 1. Okay, half, and then square, and add it to the end. 1 squared is 1. Since I added 1 here, I must add it here. Then, this will be x. I'll take the middle sign, which is negative here, and I'll take the square root of the third term, which is 1. All squared equals 121. Then I'll take the square root of both sides, so it will be x minus 1 equals positive or negative 11. Then I'll have two answers like this. X minus 1 equals 11 and x minus 1 equals negative 11. Then this x equals 12 or x equals negative 10. And this is my answer. I hope it's clear and you all understood it now.